Dustin Schutte from Saturday Tradition joins me as always. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great, Jim. How are you?
I cannot complain. Doesn't do me any good. Nobody wants to listen to it. Of course, coming off of a big loss for Indiana last night, and big as in all kinds of big ways. Big as in it probably cost them a shot at the NCAA tournament. But we will see. Stranger things have happened. I think that right now they're on the outside looking in. But that's that. You hate to bring it down to a game because there's many other games that would have made a difference. We can list a number of games. It all starts, and it does not all start with Northwestern either. It starts with Syracuse. It starts with Wisconsin. It starts with
Penn State.
Penn State, yes. Those are the games where it starts. Then you get to the suspensions and the Northwestern stuff, and you add that to that, and what boggles my mind is how close this team was to being a leader in the Big Ten Conference. It's crazy. It's crazy because they're not Big Ten Conference championship material, but yet they make a few less mistakes and they're right there. But that's why you see a team like Wisconsin that's going to win the Big Ten this year. That's not a team that would normally ever be able to win this league. They're just not good enough. But they are this year.
Well, I mean, they have it's a little bit of luck. It's a lot of bit of talent. Like when you're as good as they are, when you're as disciplined as they are, I mean, you kind of make your own luck. So they have incredible players. Like Chucky Hepburn is a really, really talented freshman. Johnny Davis is probably the Big Ten player of the year.
If you got somebody named Chucky and Johnny, I mean,
it's over. And then you got Tyler Wall, who's good in the post. Brad Davison, who's the glue guy, the energy guy. I know a lot of people don't like him, but every team needs a Brad Davison type of player. And you know what's mind-boggling to me is how similar last season was to now what this season looks like. Indiana last year looked like a tournament team midway through the season. And then all of a sudden, at the end of the year, they just – they I don't know if I can say this, but they pissed it away basically last year. They're doing the same thing this year. And Jim, the thing that's got to be most frustrating for Indiana fans, these games look the exact same. They're losing them in the last 2 minutes every freaking time. Ohio State, Wisconsin, Rutgers, Penn State. I mean, you go on and on. They've had opportunities to close these opponents out, and they just can't do it. And this is what we saw basically the entire time under Archie Miller. So you have to beat Purdue, and you have to win one game. Because I saw Mike DeCourcy's last night. His bracketology was Indiana's is in one of the last 4 teams in. Rutgers was one of the last 4 teams out. I'm assuming that's going to flip flop now.
Yes. Absolutely. And now you've got an Indiana team that has to go play at Purdue. That's not exactly going to help their standing.
And they're playing a Purdue team that's lost 2 straight. So, plus with them losing earlier in the season, they're going to have an agenda heading into that game. And
it's not as simple as, all right, you lose these 2 games and go to the Big Ten tournament and win 2 games. It's not going to work that way. Once they get pushed out, you win 1 game in the Big Ten tournament, that does not equal the loss to Rutgers. You win 2 games in the Big Ten tournament, that does not equal the loss to Rutgers and Purdue. In my opinion, if they lose to Purdue, they're going to have to win 3 games in the Big Ten tournament.
Well,
Two might get it done, but
I was going to say it probably depends on who they're playing in that second game, because the first game they're probably not going to play a team with the caliber to do much for the resume. But if they get, I haven't looked at what the updated bracket's going to look like. But if they get Purdue, if they get Ohio State, well, a top 25 team, that second win might be enough to squeak them in, depending on how a team like Michigan or Rutgers performs in the Big Ten tournament. So you never know. But again, what faith do you have that this team can beat anybody in the Big Ten right now? Now, we know that they should be able to beat a handful of these teams in the Big Ten, but the way they've played recently, the way they let big leads slip away against virtually every team they're playing, you can't be confident that they would beat anybody they're going to go up against.
Can't be confident that they could beat eggs.
I like that.
Jason asked, would like to know the number of games they led in the half. I can tell you this. In the Big Ten, of the 10 losses, 5 of them they had leads at the half. Ooh. So they led in half of their leads. Half of their losses. They had the halftime lead.
I'd like to know how many times they've had a lead in the last 2 minutes.
I guarantee you the last 4 minutes.
Yeah. But I think Wisconsin, they had a lead in 2 minutes. I know they did it against Ohio State. They obviously did last night against Rutgers. I'd have to go back and look, but.
How about that? 6 years, not only 6 straight losing seasons of the Big Ten. This is a 6th straight year without a trip to the NCAA tournament. Yes, they are recruiting very, very well. They do have the guys coming in. Great question here. Where was the All-American second half? Now, you can't blame this all on him. He has to get the ball.
He did get it.
And
on one of those last possessions, he was demanding the ball. And this is where, when you don't have a move, when you don't have a jump shot, when you can't use your offhand, that's where it bites you. He took 3 dribbles and kicked it out. And Indiana, I don't remember if they made a shot on the play or not. I can't remember. But he demanded the ball and then passed it up. And he wasn't being double teamed.
Because he can go one direction.
That's what I'm saying.
And they know that. But do you know how many points he had in the second half?
I don't. 4?
4
2,
points. 4, I'm sorry. 4.
One of them was the mangled finger there, so I couldn't quite tell.
2 points came at the 19-minute mark off of a dunk. 1 minute into the half, he gets a dunk. He doesn't score again, I think, until like 4 minutes to go, and those were on 2 free throws.
Mm-hmm. Jeez. You can't have that.
13 first half points. And scores 1 field goal in the second half. 1 field goal. And that is 1 minute into the half. And would not score another field goal the rest of the game.
I think that's not.
I'm sorry. That's not an All-American.
No.
Because that's not the first time that's happened. And I'm not here to downgrade Trace Jackson Davis, but I'm just telling you the truth. That's not an All-American. That is a recurring theme.
It is.
With him.
Can I tell you what else is a recurring theme? It's not necessarily a recurring theme, but what the hell was Mike Woodson doing when Rutgers called a timeout and Indiana raced down the floor, 3 seconds go off the clock, and he calls a timeout again? It ended up working out because Indiana missed the shot. I don't remember if they got the offensive rebound or it was out of bounds or what the call was. But it ended up working out because they got Parker Stewart that 3. But that was a waste of – they were out of timeouts at that point. Could you not have drawn a play up from the full – what did you do in that timeout?
You have to this – man, it's very ginger.
Because my point to that, Jim, is
I think the mistakes that have been made by this team.
You can call timeout and set up a defense, or you can do something.
I think that the mistakes by this team this season are equally shared, not just with the players, but with the coaching staff. Mike Woodson has made some mistakes. There's no question. Lots of mistakes. And some of it is just simply by not doing something. That was a mistake of not calling a timeout at the right time, not having a play ready, not having this team ready, not having them skilled to the point of, hey, this is what we do at this time. You've just got to have those set things that you go to and that you are practiced at. They're not. It's like every time is a new adventure. It's like a brand new show that they've never seen before every time. It's a brand new episode. Hey, it's the end of the game and the game's on the line. What do we do? It's like the Keystone Cops comes out at that time. Bad reference there. No one knows who the hell the Keystone Cops are, but
no,
barely even I know who the Keystone Cops are when I say it.
The
Three Stooges comes out, or the clowns come out of the car. It's like,
yeah,
that's exactly what the end of game IU offense is like. It's like the little car pulling up and all the clowns getting out and running around. You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
You're like, what the hell? What the hell's going on?
You would think, again, that they would understand the situation, considering they're in that situation almost every game. I don't understand how they can be like deer in headlights. Ill-prepared. Deer in headlights every time. It's not like this. It's not like Indiana's played 3 or 4 close games and they let those slip away. This is a regular occurrence to the point where you should be comfortable with what you're doing. But there has to be zero plan, I guess. I don't know. It just looks very similar to what we saw the last couple of years. So that's not a good sign. And I understand that there's going to be some growing pains, and Mike Woodson's new at the college level. So maybe you'll see some changes in year 2, but man, oh man,